Hello everyone, I'm Jaehyun Cho from Korea University. Today, I'm excited to present our work titled Rethinking DPO, the Role of Rejected Responses in Preference Misalignment. Let me begin with the motivation behind this work. In recent years, direct preference optimization has become a widely used approach for aligning LLM with human preferences. It's simple, efficient, and avoids the complexity of reinforcement learning. However, despite its success, many works observe that DPO often fails to align models in the intended direction. When we looked into this problem more closely, we found that the optimization process is overly influenced by rejected responses. To tackle this issue, we revisited the formulation of DPO and analyzed the root cause of this imbalance. Based on that analysis, we propose bounded DPO, a simple modification that controls the effect of rejected responses. Before diving into our method, let's briefly review what DPO is and what it aims to achieve. DPO is a simple and efficient framework for aligning LLM with human preferences. It relies on pairwise comparison data, and it allows us to train models without explicit real modeling or reinforcement learning. DPO essentially has two core objectives. First, to increase the probability of the chosen response while decreasing the probability of the rejected one. And second, to stay aligned with the reference model so that the updated policy does not deviate too far from its original behavior. These objectives sound straightforward, and they are indeed implied by the DPO laws formulation. However, when we look more closely at the actual optimization dynamics, we find that DPO does not reliably achieve these goals. In theory, the DPO loss can be minimized simply by driving the probability of the rejected response toward zero. Uh, but importantly, this can happen without necessarily increasing the probability of the chosen response. As a result, optimization tends to be dominated by the rejected responses. Consequently, we often observe that both chosen and rejected response probabilities decrease together, which is clearly not the intended behavior of DPO. Now that we've identified the limitation of DPO, let's take a look at how existing variants have tried to address this issue. One common approach is DPO plus NLL, which simply adds a negative log likelihood loss to the original DPO objective. The idea is straightforward. By including an NLL term, we can explicitly encourage the model to increase the probability of the chosen responses. While this approach works to some extent, it introduces a new challenge. The optimization becomes very sensitive to the weighting hyperparameter alpha. If alpha is too large, the NLR term dominates and the model ends up behaving more like supervised fine-tuning rather than preference optimization. Another attempt is DPOP, which introduces a penalty when the chosen response probability falls below that of the reference model. This helps prevent a decrease in chosen response probability, maintaining better alignment with the reference. However, DPP still suffers from the same fundamental issue. It remains heavily influenced by rejected responses, so it cannot fully resolve the imbalance inherent in DPO. This limitation motivated us to design a new approach that keeps DPO simplicity but explicitly control the effect of rejected responses. Our solution is called bounded DPO or BDPO. It's a minimal but powerful modification to the DPO loss. The key idea is to replace the rejected response distribution with mixture distribution that combines the current model and the reference model. This design ensures that even if the model drives into the rejected response probability pi zeta while loss given x close to zero, this term uh, is not zero. The denominator of the loss remains lower bounded, preventing extreme updates or numerical instability. In other words, BDPO keeps DPO's original structure but bounds the influence of rejected responses, guaranteeing more stable and balanced optimization. Importantly, it also provides a theoretical guarantee that the chosen response probability will not collapse, something that standard DPO cannot ensure. To build some intuition about what's happening inside these algorithms, we designed a simple toy case experiment. You can see this is an initial setup. Um, 4 prompt and 4 responses, and the circle is chosen one, and crossed is rejected one, and shaped is odd responses. Now, when we apply DPO and DPOP, we observe that both methods tends to increase the probability of odd responses during optimization. In contrast, DPO plus NL and our BDPO do not exhibit this issue. We also compared the learning dynamics of each method throughout training. For DPO, we found that both chosen and rejected response probability gradually decrease. DPO plus NLL pushes the chosen responses probability aggressively toward 100%, often leading to over-optimization and instability. In contrast, DPO-P and BDPO both optimize the chosen and rejected probabilities in the correct direction while maintaining strong alignment with the reference model. Let's look at the benchmark results. Across different size model, BDPO consistently outperforms DPO at each variant. This result demonstrates that achieving DPO's core objective translates into real performance improvements. To summarize, we identified the DPO fails to fully achieve each original objectives mainly due to the dominant influence of rejected responses. We examined alternative approaches like DPO plus NLL and DPOP and showed that they only partially address this issue. Finally, we proposed BDPO, which achieves balanced optimization and maintains alignment with the reference model. As for future work, we plan to extend BDPO to larger models and more diverse tasks and to explore deeper theoretical analysis beyond the single pair settings. Thank you for listening.